What's up everyone, and welcome to a very spooktacular episode of Pimping Pixels, the only design show that will give you both the tricks and treats you need to become a pro. Today we're going to walk you guys through how to create your very own movie poster. So let's get started with Pimping Pixels Night of the Living Design! Let's first start by taking a look at the poster that we will be creating. Okay, sorry about that. Let me just zoom into it a bit more so you can see it better. And an easy way to zoom in is to hold down Command on Mac and Control on Windows and press the plus button to zoom in. And in case you zoomed in a little too close, you could press Command minus to zoom back out. Now the main seller of this poster is the image, of course, but all the surrounding details really bring everything together. So on the main image, I'll show you some quick ways to adjust the coloring so that you can match it better to the background. I'll show you how to use textures, brushes, and different blend modes to create an interesting grunge background. We will also show you how to add cracks to your text in order to give it a unique destroyed look. And last but not least, we will show you guys where you can get this awesome font to add to make your own movie credits. And now we got a lot to go over, so let's just get right into it. Let's start this project from scratch. What we're going to do is go to File, New, and we'll make a new document the proper movie poster size, which is 27 by 40 inches. If we were making a real poster that we were going to print, I would want to make my resolution 300 dpi or higher, but since we're just having fun, we're going to leave the resolution at 72 dpi, so that it's easier to work with our assets. Now that we have our artboard set up, we come across the most scariest thing to any designer, a blank page. After staring face to face with this blank space, you'll start asking yourself questions like, where do I start? What should I add? What will my design be? How do I create the effects that I want? Well, we're going to kill all those fears right away by adding a quick background. This way we aren't staring at just white. So let's go grab our gradient tool and make sure you set your foreground color to black, and we'll set our background color to an off black. Then just drag from the bottom up, and you'll now have a nice subtle gradient to work off of. Now we're going to add our background texture into this image, and you can find that by heading to our Freebies page and download Rust Scratches 006. And then just place the image onto your artboard by going to File, Place, and choosing the file. Then rotate it and scale it to fit the entire artboard, and with that in place, let's set its blend mode to multiply. Now it looks a little too light and dull for me right now, so one easy way to boost the contrast and make it stand out more is to just duplicate the layer on top of itself. Just press Command and J on Mac or Control and J on Windows, and make sure that the copied layer is set to multiply as well. So now this way your texture has twice that multiplied goodness. And if it's a little bit too much, you could adjust the opacity of the second layer. What we're going to do is bring it down to about 50%. Let's make our background stand out even more by adding a second texture to it. Go to our Freebies page and go download Monoprint 2. Then place it on your artboard, scale it, and make sure you set its blend mode to multiply as well. Now it's already looking pretty creepy, but I want to make it a bright red. So right click on the Monoprint layer and open its blending options. In here, choose Color Overlay and just set it to a bright red, and change that blend mode to color. Now it's a little too bright here, so I'm just going to lower the opacity of this layer to fix that. So let's bring that down to about 65%. Now on our original example, you can see I have some different colored scratches on the background. This is simply just another layer just for those scratches. You can find the scratches that I use by heading back to our Freebies page and download the Cracked Desk brush set. On a new layer, use a couple of these brushes just to paint a few white scratches. And then what you're going to do is set that layer's blending mode to overlay. And you can see instantly how it adds a nice little extra pop to the background. Now that our background is complete, we can move on to adding the main image. This image I found when searching for a scary woman on Google. If you want to follow along and use the same exact image, then you can find it at the link below, and it's also inside of the description. Now let's place the image of our freak onto our artboard and then remove her from the background that she's on. If you want to see exactly how to do this, then just watch our previous episode on selecting hair and do the same steps here. Now to save time, I already have a selection of just her. Now the image of her is really brighter than our background, so let's do some simple adjustments to make her match it a bit better. What we're going to do here is add a curves adjustment layer to her. First, we're going to grab a selection of just her by holding down Command on Mac or Control on Windows and clicking on the thumbnail image of her mask layer, right over here. Next, go to the bottom of the Layers panel and click on the Adjustments button and select Curves. Since we had the selection of the freak before we did this step, it automatically created a mask on the Curves layer, so it will only affect the freak and not the entire image. So it's very important that you do that, and it saves you time. Now when you click on the Curves layer, its Properties Adjustment window should open right up, and we're going to just adjust the curve to match the one that I have here. And you really want to play with this a bit more on your own time so that you can see how moving it around at different points affects your image. Let's fade the freak into the background a bit. We're going to start by grouping the image and the curves layer together by selecting both layers and then pressing Command G on Mac or Control G on Windows. Now let's just rename the group and add a mask to it. Reset your colors to black by pressing D on the keyboard. Then with the mask layer selected for the group, use the gradient tool and drag down from her neck a little bit to create a nice subtle fade. Now that we have our background and our main image is done, let's finish this up by adding the text. We'll start off simply by adding our title. You could use any font you like for this. I'm going to stick to a nice little sans serif font so that our title is nice and bold. Next, we will add a texture to our main title. The texture we'll be using is the Marble Other 0001 texture that can be found where? That's right, on our Freebies page. After you download it, just place it on the artboard, and this time we're going to scale it to just cover the text area. And with our marble layer selected, open up its blending options and add a red color overlay. And then we're going to set that color overlay blend mode to multiply. Now, to apply this texture to our main title, just make sure that the texture layer is directly above the title layer, then right-click on the texture layer and choose Create Clipping Mask, and the texture will be masked to the title. Now let's make some final touches to our title by adding cracks and creases to it. This is one of the easiest and most fun things to do. All you have to do is add a mask to your type layer, grab your crack brushes, and start painting black on top of the mask layer, and it will hide everything that you are painting. The best part is, if you messed up or don't like how it's looking, all you have to do is paint white instead of black, and you'll paint those areas right back in. Now doing it this way instead of rasterizing your font and erasing away to make those cracks is so much better, because doing it this way makes it completely non-destructive. And to make it even more awesome, let's say your movie sells really good and that it gets an international release. You can still go back into your project, edit that font layer, and change its text. All those cracks will still be there, and you could even add more if you needed to. Now looking at everything we got so far, we can see that we are almost finished. But this ad isn't a movie poster until you add the movie credits to it. And Video Copilot just recently released the perfect font for this. Not only do you get the font from them, but they also included a template that has the ratings box and that little world film symbol that you always see in ads. So if you want that font, you can grab it from their website at the link below, and you could also find that link inside of the description. So this finally brings an end to our Night of the Living design, and now it's up to you to bring your own horror movie poster to life and keep on pimping them pixels. 4. So that will bring an end to our Night of the Living. Whose phone is ringing? Why is your phone ringing? Yeah, you want to come in here and get that? Because I'm recording. And your phone's ringing while I'm recording. This is recording time.